What is up, you guys? Welcome to the inaugural episode of the Raveraide Podcast with your host, Ty Hardy. And I just want to take a moment to express my overwhelming love and gratitude for each of you who are tuning in to listen to our very first episode. And truthfully, we're one of the most exciting parts of what we're working on here at Raveraide, which is the podcast, because I feel that this is going to be a really good opportunity for us to connect on a deeper level with you, because without you, this wouldn't be possible, and we understand that. So that's a really big portion of what we focus on here at Raveraide, is making sure that you guys are having the absolute best experience and truthfully feeling what it is that we're creating rather than just experiencing just the products, because it goes so much deeper than just the product. It's a mission and a movement towards higher levels of consciousness. So then that way we can make that deep internal change that ultimately changes the course of human history, because we truly believe here at Raveraide that in order to be able to make lasting change in the world, we're going to have to come together as one to solve a lot of the problems that we're facing as a collective. And it's totally possible, but we have to do it together as a group. And ultimately, that's the biggest thing that we want to share on this podcast, is that you're never alone. You're completely supported in whatever stage of the journey you're on, and we're here to support you in any way that we can. So in this episode, what we're going to be discussing specifically is the Raveraide origin stories, all the way back from the beginning, where we come from, why we created the company, our intention and mission in the community, what we're planning to do in the future, updates on the product, like everything that, is pertinent to you will be coming through this podcast. And we're going to be sharing a lot of really valuable content and having amazing guests on, and just doing a bunch of really fun stuff that we hope ultimately helps you and assists you on your path to becoming the greatest version of yourself. So hopping into this episode, the Raveraide mission is something that, is everything to me, and it's everything to the team, because for me, it signifies, me finding myself in a lot of ways, and expressing and sharing that with the world. And it's been really a cool journey to, watch the evolution of myself and the team and who we're becoming along the way. It's been a really beautiful thing. It's been really one of the most rewarding things of this whole mission and project. And I'm just super grateful for them and everything that they do to bring the best products and the best services to the community, because ultimately you guys deserve absolutely the very best. And, going back to, 2018, I went to my very first EDC with a couple members of the Raveraide team now. And, we didn't really know a lot about the EDM community. I didn't know anything about the community. I'd never been to a festival before. I'd never really listened to EDM music. So it was like a completely, out of left field experience for me. But I was like, you know what, let's have a new experience. Let's see what it's like. Life is going pretty good right now. Like, let's do it. And so we ended up going down on a 2-week notice. It was just a complete paradigm shift for me. I feel that it completely changed the course and trajectory of my entire life after we had went, because it was almost like something had been missing my entire life and I didn't know what that was. And ultimately, I feel like a lot of that was the EDM community and live music and the ability to, have the kind of experiences that we get to have so frequently at music festivals together. It's such a beautiful experience, and that's a big thing that we want to change in the community. Is we don't want there to be this negative stigma around going to music festivals. Music festivals are this beautiful opportunity to actually become a better version of yourself. If you go with the right intentionality, you can actually learn and evolve and transform right in front of your eyes if you allow yourself to do so. And we want to knock down that stigma that it's not a safe place, or, people go for the wrong reasons. Like, there's beautiful reasons to be going. It really just comes down to the intentionality as to why you go. And so basically we get back from EDC that year, and, we were just on a high for months. We're like, oh my gosh, like, when's the next one? When can we go do this again? Like, this is really giving us something to look forward to. Like, life's not mundane and boring. Like, we get to go have these experiences. And so we ended up going on, quite the stint. We went on a run of, one major music festival a month for almost 18 months, I would say. And then what ended up happening was we end up at EDC a year later, and we ended up renting a mansion house with 55 people in it. And it was kind of the merging of multiple rave groups and fams coming together. And I would say that I knew maybe like half of those people, the other half that I didn't know. And a lot of them that I didn't know now are really great friends of mine. So, I mean, that's even just the beauty of everything that music festivals embody, is that the opportunity to meet and discover new people that play a significant role in your life journey. So basically, in 2019, the first couple nights of EDC were really awesome. There was one point in which I decided to go for a walk by myself on the second night. And it was really interesting because I do believe that everything in life happens for a very particular reason, and there's no such thing as coincidences. So there was a point in which I was walking by myself, and I remember walking through kind of like the more central area of the circuit, or not the circuit grounds, excuse me, of the festival grounds at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And essentially, I saw a bunch of people on the ground, sitting with their friends who didn't look like they were having a very good time. Like they were either sick or maybe having a bad trip or something. It was hard to know, but it was like a sea of people. And I had seen that, and it kind of stuck out as really significant to me. But at the time, I didn't really understand why, or, what the purpose was of seeing that, but it just kind of stuck out to me. And those moments tend to be very, pivotal moments and important, significant moments in your life if you're paying attention and in retrospect can look back and understand why. And so I ended up walking through the crowd and, getting back with the group. And the first and second night went well and everything was good. And so what ended up happening was, on the third night, I decided to end up going on a walk by myself because sometimes I enjoy my alone time at festivals, like to reflect and spend time on, who I was the year before and where I want to be, the next time that I'm here and things like that. But I ended up going on this really weird path and walk, and I ended up running into a girl that was in our house that I hadn't known prior to the festival, and we kind of just found each other, and we ended up hanging out at circuit grounds for a little bit. And it turns out that her hydration pack had broken, so I had been giving her water out of my pack throughout the night just to make sure she was staying hydrated. And then what ended up happening was she ended up going off with a different part of our group for a set, and I stayed at circuit grounds. And so we made a plan to meet up after and catch the last set of the weekend together, because it was Sunday morning at 5:00 in the morning. It was like right towards the tail end of the festival, and we decided to go catch a set at Base Pod, which was Delta Heavy at the end of the weekend. And we ended up going up to rail. And normally, like, I'm not a huge fan of going up to rail just because it's usually like kind of tight and cramped and sometimes a little bit overstimulating just because of all the screens and stuff and the music. But yeah, so we ended up going up there, and we ended up, having a pretty good time. And I remember looking at the screen, and it was super bright. And this particular person, my friend, was between another one of our friends. So we had a friend, and then she was one to the left of me. And I remember looking back up at the screen and then looking over, and she was gone, like within like a 2 or 3 second window. And it was just like really confusing for a second. I was like, she was literally there a second ago, and now she's not. And so I turned around and looked back, and I saw her laying on the ground with her feet up, like kind of up in the air a little bit. And I was like, what's going on? And so what ended up happening was she was having a seizure, and it was just one of those moments in life where you realize how fragile the human experience really is. And, those are things that happen to other people. Those things don't happen to people that the people that matter to you and the ones that you love. And even if they're like new friends, like that happens to other people. And, it was a very humbling experience because, when life is on the line, potentially, like it's very fragile. It's very real. Like you're very in that moment. And, she ended up having a seizure for about a minute, and she was just on the ground convulsing. And, it was just one of those things where, I was like, why is this happening? You know what I mean? Like everything's been going great all weekend. Like we've all been having a great time. Like, why is this happening? And is she okay, first and foremost, cause it's just tough because there's not really a lot you can do in that experience. You just kind of have to, pray and hope that everything works out and that she's okay. And, I got down on the ground and focused on like keeping her safe, but at the same time, it's important to make sure you're not, restricting, someone who's having a seizure or an episode like that. And, her and our other friends that were with were, super upset and crying. And, it was just a really emotional moment. And luckily what ended up happening was the the paramedics, the EMT, the medical team for EDC was able to get in there, and they kind of pushed me off of her and tried to get her to come back too, which luckily she did after what I would say would be at least a minute of convulsing. So she ended up coming back too, but it was obviously very disoriented and confused, which rightfully so, because that's a pretty scary experience for someone to go through. And the EMTs kind of had me talk to her and calm her down. We were able to get her up and get her to the med tent, and they did a really good job at taking care of her, getting her back coherent and okay to leave. And so we end up walking out of the med tent. The festival's over, pretty much everyone's gone, but luckily she was okay. And that's a very heavy experience to experience, most importantly for her, but also for everybody who's around, because ultimately we don't go to music festivals to have those experiences. We go there to have some of the best experiences of our lives. And ultimately the number one goal should be to make sure that everybody who goes to a music festival comes home safely. And so that way we can continue to enjoy these things and have great, lasting memories. And, there's one of those things that kind of, like, to be quite honest, like, shook me a little bit, because, it was scary. It was frightening. You never want to see anybody that you care about in a position like that, where there's little to nothing that you can do to help them, and thank God she's doing okay. She's completely healthy now, no problems whatsoever. So, near tragedy missed, but, at the end of the day, we don't want that to happen for anyone. And that's a big reason as to why we created this company, and which I'll speak on more as we keep going. But so what ended up happening was, all that settles, she's doing okay. We go home, and, again, I don't believe in coincidences. I believe that there's significance in almost every single event that happens in our lives. And it's our job, it's part of our journey to uncover why there's significance in the moments that we're experiencing, and starting to see the perfection in all things that happen in life, and truly being able to alchemize things that are, less than ideal into potentially great things that can help other people. And so I get home, and I'm still working in the supplement sales job. And, about a year later from that point, I decided that, I don't want to do that anymore. And I kind of felt like I had outgrown that. And so I ended up in Michigan that following summer of 2020, right at the peak of COVID, selling life insurance to people. I decided to go out there because some of my family lives out there. And, to be quite honest with you, I was like feeling super unfulfilled in that. Like, it wasn't satisfying me. It wasn't making me feel like I was really making a massive impact, like the way that I want to ultimately before my time is up here on this planet, because, like, ultimately I want to make a big change. And I just wasn't feeling that in that moment. Like, we were helping people, but it was like not fast enough in the way that I wanted to help. But so what ended up happening was, to be quite honest, I wasn't like super happy and fulfilled at that time. And I was really kind of miserable and depressed, honestly, and that's one thing about this podcast is I'm going to share the truth about everything, my journey, the company's journey, where we're going. Like, I'm going to be very honest and transparent, because in the name of totality, understanding that we are everything, it's important that, we don't only just shine a light on the good things, we shine a light on the entire experience, because that's what it means to be human, is to experience the whole range of emotion and experience in this lifetime. And so I remember driving home one day, and I was like, it was a rough day. Like, it was a super rough day, and I wasn't feeling too up. And then boom, like out of nowhere, this idea dropped in for, a supplement for ravers, that would essentially help reduce the risk of what happened to my friend, for everybody, because we all have a body that we need to take care of. And, there's such an opportunity to take care of it. And there's a responsibility to take care of it as well. And, prior to that, I had asked, before the idea came in, I was like, what was the purpose of this? What was the significance of this? And a year later, the idea came in. And to be quite honest with you, like, I didn't sleep for like 2 days. Like, I was so excited on this idea. Like, could this be something? Like, would this benefit people? Like, would it reduce the risk of medical related incidents at music festivals? Like, would this actually make a difference in somebody's life? And so, I started calling people that were close to me, some of my closest friends. And I said, hey, I have this idea. Like, what do you guys think about it? And, every single person that's close to me and significant in my life, they were all, super supportive. They were like, you need to pursue this. Like, this is a terrific idea. Like, this is something that, you need to do, So from that point forward, I ended up taking a trip to Lake Powell with, a lot of my good friends, and Colton, who works in Raveraide as well, he decided to make the commitment towards a music career as well. So on a houseboat in Lake Powell, we were talking and we're like, should we go for this? Like, should we do it? And we were like, yeah, let's do it. And so we both made a commitment to one another in September of 2020 that we were going to figure out how to make our dreams come true. Because I wasn't happy with a lot of the things in my life, and I just wanted to make a change. I wanted to make an impact. I wanted to be the best version of myself, and stand behind something that is a reflection of the way that I feel about myself and what's truly possible for our community. And so I get back from Michigan, I come home, and I have no idea what I'm doing, like what we're doing, how to do it. Like I started to talk to some friends, and they were able to kind of point us in the right direction on, hey, talk to these people. And through a lot of failures and trials and trying different things and having up and down experiences and all these things, we were able to finally get a good enough product made. And I had a background on like what I wanted in the product specifically. Like I knew what was needed. I knew that there's some high quality electrolytes were going to be needed, things for the brain to promote, anti-anxiety and focus for flow states, things to help out with muscle recovery, things to help out with muscle tension, all of your vitamins and minerals, and do it in a clean way, because, I've been working in the supplement space before that, and a lot of supplements really aren't as clean as you would think that they are. And, I always wanted to make a commitment towards it being something that was clean and actually good for the body, that would help you vibrate at a better level. So that way you could have more enhanced experiences with what you're creating, and what you're experiencing in your life. So ultimately, we went through a lot of trial and error, and then we ended up in 2020, we sponsored a music festival, one of our buddies' music festivals, and we donated 6,000 sticks of Raveraide and 10,000 water bottles to the people who attended Singularity Music Festival in Utah. And so that was like kind of the grand kickoff to our company. And, it almost didn't happen in a way, but I'll talk about that in a future episode. But we're super grateful it did. And then we kept, going down the path, and we started seeing ways in which we could improve the product. And we found our chief of formulation now, who's a genius, and he does an amazing job for us and for the community. And we're really grateful for him because he was able to take the product to another level, which is the product that most of you guys are using now, which is the 2.0 version of Raveraide, the Liddy Lemonade. And, it was a huge level up from where we were at with the 1.0 version. And we have a new flavor coming out next month that is going to take it to a whole nother level. And, that's a big commitment of ours in the company, is to continuously improve, continuously get better, continuously provide better resources and information to help you become a more self-actualized and self-love version of yourself. So then that way you can give your gift to the world, because ultimately we feel that Raveraide is, the thing that we're meant to give. And we want you giving your gift, because ultimately the more people that are giving their gifts and are in congruence with creation, the more quickly we're going to solve a lot of the world problems that we're facing as a collective. And so basically, last year was the year of getting the product out, getting our name out there, getting people to know who we are and learn a little bit more about us. But this is the year of really, quadrupling down on that and really making sure that people know who we are, what our intention is, what we're wanting for the community, and then also, what it is that we're ultimately wanting to create with you. And so as we keep going down this path, it's been this beautiful journey. It's been this amazing thing that has been so rewarding in so many ways that I didn't fully understand going into it. At first, when we created the product, it was one of those things where we're like, hey, we're just trying to reduce the risk of medical related incidents. And, our motto is that if we can prevent one experience, just one experience, like what my friend experienced or I experienced or anybody that was there that night experienced, then it would be worth pursuing this mission and cause. And we've gotten so much amazing feedback from people, and a lot of people have reached out to us saying, hey, I've went through a similar experience with my friend. I've had this happen, and I wish that your guys' product was around at that time, because we really do believe that it could have maybe made a difference. Or people saying that it has made a major difference for them. And I would say the most rewarding moment that I've had so far in the whole journey was I had somebody at EDC come up to us in the campgrounds, and she's like, oh, you're with Raveraide? And I was like, yeah, because we had our totem. And she was like, I just want you to know that I had, gotten in a car accident earlier this year, and it resulted in some traumatic brain injuries. And I just want you to know that I've been taking your product consistently since you guys, launched. And I really feel like it's helping me with my cognition and helping me live a better quality of life. And so I think like that moment right there was everything to me. Like that was the moment of like, we've made a difference in one person's life. And I think the big thing that you need to recognize as a listener and as a human being is that when you change, when you become that version of yourself that you know is possible, that your soul knows is possible, you don't understand the ripple effect that you have on people until it happens. And making that change will ultimately change the course of human history. Every single decision that you're making right now in your life is ultimately dictating the future for not only yourself, but future family and friends and, all the generations to come. So when you think that your life doesn't matter, it's not significant, it is very significant. It is the most important thing, because all of us living with that mindset is ultimately what's going to change our future in such a beautiful way that we're able to actually make legitimate, lasting change. So our future generations don't have to deal with the things that we've been dealing with, because I was born in the middle of the 90s. Like from that time forward, we've always had some sort of conflict or challenge or, stress or struggle going on. And it doesn't have to be that way, but we all have to come together and we have to step up and unite as one to make that happen. And so kind of getting back into it, really, it's been a fun journey so far. It's been a challenging journey. There's been a lot of ups and downs. There's been struggle. There's been some of the most euphoric, existential moments of our lives in this experience. And it's just been so beautiful. And ultimately, we want to make sure with our intention in the community is we want to make you into a better version of yourself. But most importantly, you are going to make yourself into a better version of yourself. You're going to heal from your traumas. You're going to become the best version of yourself. You're not going to allow the past to dictate your future. You're going to understand your conscious and subconscious mind, and you're going to step into what it is that you were truly meant to become, because you are worthy and capable and deserving of all of the most beautiful things in life. And ultimately, it starts from within, because we understand that here at Raveraide that your external reality is a reflection of your internal reality. So the more that you clean yourself up and come into alignment and congruence with what it is that you're actually capable of, the more that your external reality is going to validate that. And ultimately, you are going to become that. And ultimately, that's what the world needs. And that's what the world deserves more than anything right now. It needs your gift. It needs the version of you that you know is capable, that I know is capable. And I'm going to do everything in my power with this mission and this company, and the team will do the same thing to assist you along your path and journey, because ultimately you and the universe know what it is that you're here for. And we're just here to help support you, because we're one. We understand that ultimately we are one and the same. And, that's why I think so beautiful about the EDM community more than, the outside world in a lot of ways is like, there's a lot of really positive, healthy attributes of the EDM community that if we applied more in our day-to-day lives and people who don't go to music festivals applied, I think we'd be in a lot better place. So I actually see a massive opportunity with the music festival community and the conscious community to really step into their power and lead by example towards the world that, we could live in tomorrow, that's more sustainable, peaceful, and happy for the entire collective. And it's just such a beautiful experience. And like, we feel honored to, contribute in any way that we can to make that a reality for everyone, because, I feel like ultimately that's why we're here, is to help each other, to assist each other, to help each other evolve and grow into something more beautiful, not only for ourselves, but as a whole. And, the product itself that we created is a tool for that. You can use it for anything that you'd like, because we believe in free choice here at Raveraide. But ultimately, the reason that we created this product ultimately was to help and assist you to allow your body to vibrate at a different frequency, so that ultimately you can attract and manifest the things that you want and the experiences that are more suitable for your life experience that you want to have, because ultimately you are the creator of your reality. And it all starts from within. So this product is meant to help take you to a different level, to help you gain a higher level of awareness and understanding of yourself and the way that you relate to, the world, and how you can contribute in a meaningful way that, makes the world a better place. And that's the importance of this podcast as well, is because if you just took the product at face value, obviously the product works very well because we poured a lot of time and love and energy and intention into it, even down to the smallest of details. You're going to notice that it works, but understanding why it works, understanding what the intention was of why we're creating it, is ultimately going to allow you to get the most out of this product. And everything that we create, like, our intention is always to create the highest quality of everything, because we believe that in order to get to where you truly deserve to go, you have to give your body really good things. And in later episodes, we'll talk about like my health journey. We'll talk about some of the experiences that I've had. We're going to have amazing guests on that have deep intellectual knowledge and embodied knowledge about energy dynamics, energy work, and spirituality. So then that way we can open your eyes and awareness to what is really going on here, because there's a lot more than meets the eye from what I've learned in my life experience. And the more people we get seeing through that lens versus the lens that we've been conditioned to look through, the quicker the world's going to be a better place. And I'm excited to do my part in sharing that with the world. So in regards to this year, went through 2021, super fun experience, met a lot of amazing, beautiful people. Really felt like we made a solid impact on the community, to the point where ultimately I think we're gonna see a huge year at Raveraide in 2022 on a number of fronts, because ultimately we trust and believe in ourselves to make a big impact in the community, and we know that the community needs that in a lot of ways. And we're going to talk about some of the things that are pressing and challenging for people inside the community, like mental health advocacy and stuff like that. Because I've been there, I've had those experiences myself where my mental health has not been good because of the way I took care of myself or didn't take care of myself. And, ultimately we want to help you navigate through that and on your journey. So then that way you can come out on the other side, with all this valuable, rich life experience that you can share with others and share those gifts, because ultimately we are our own teachers and we are our own medicine. And I'm just excited, super excited and grateful for this opportunity. We do have a new flavor dropping at, sometime next month. We're still getting the details figured out, but what I can promise you is that this new flavor is such a big level up from what we've created in the past that you guys are truly going to be able to feel the difference. And I'm super, super proud of everything that we've done, but specifically what's coming, we're super proud of here at Raveraide. And we know that it's going to make a big difference and make your quality of life better in every single way. Not only just in music festivals, you can use it at any given time. I take it almost on a daily basis because it helps with focus. It helps with flow states. It helps with clarity. It helps replenishing vitamins and minerals. It helps with electrolytes and cell salts. Like, it does everything. It's really a super supplement that we've created, but much more than just a hydration stick. And we're just super grateful to give it to, our community first. And then from there, our plans are to expand into, much wider markets and really get this to everybody, because we think that what we have to share with the world is something that everybody on this planet would benefit from. And we're stoked to do it, honestly. And, without further ado, guys, I'm super grateful to be here. Life's been great. And, it's possible for every single one of us to experience the upper echelon of our human experience. And it's much easier to do it together as one. So my name's Ty Hardy. Welcome to Raveraide, and I hope that you guys have an amazing day. And make sure to apply, what resonates for you from these episodes. Dig in and feel what feels right and implement those into your daily life. And before you know it, you'll be living in a completely different reality that at times didn't even seem possible. But I can promise you that they very much are. And so hope you guys have a great day. Peace.